Interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I am Jim Punzenberger, your host, the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate new clients or new partners, be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com. Excited to have Corey with me today. Corey, will you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi, Jim. It's great to be here. I'm Corey Thompson. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Big Rio. It's a company specializing in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and natural language processing. In addition to that, I'm also the Chief Executive Officer of CarTwin, which is a spinoff of some work that we have done for a major automobile manufacturer, and we're trying to get that company funded. My background, I spent 23 years in the Navy driving submarines. And then when
Thank you for your service.
My pleasure. And when I left the Navy, I went to work for Chicago Bridge and Iron, where I ran their global supply chain. And then I took over as their chief information officer when CB&I bought the Shaw Group to integrate the two companies together. Big job, did that for about 4 years. And then left there, went to Pacific Drilling, where I was the chief information officer and head of technology. And it was a great time, worked there for 3 years until COVID decided to shut the company down, at which point I took the opportunity to go out on my own and start a company and work with my friend. And so it's been fun. I've got a basket of experience.
So what's something interesting about yourself outside of work?
Well, here lately, it's been pretty much work all the time. Actually, something kind of unique you probably don't know is that I was in a movie with Lee Majors about a year ago. It's called Narco Sub. Don't get impressed because I have a very small part. Actually, the scene that I was in was with Tom Sizemore, and so if you watch Narco Sub, the scene where Tom Sizemore and I go in to try and convince the director of the CIA to let us go and rescue our friend. So it's about a 4 or 5 minute scene. It was an enormous amount of fun. Tom Sizemore is a cool guy, and Lee Majors is in the film, and so yeah, that's kind of unique.
I'll have to watch it now and look for you.
Definitely.
Cool. And I thought you said you were going to be like driving the sub in the movie or something, but so you're I haven't seen the movie myself, so that sounds like
so
you avert disaster in the movie. Is that like basically your role is?
That's basically the
without giving away without giving too much away of the movie.
Yeah, a Colombian cartel kidnaps a submarine officer, not me, but he kidnaps a submarine officer and forces him to drive a submarine to the United States. So I won't tell you any more than that. I don't want to wreck the film, but it was a lot of fun. It was a really new experience doing movies and film. It's really a fascinating world. So I really enjoyed it.
Great. Well, it sounds like it was a fun thing to do. Anyways, what would you say is keys to your success, or what you might one say is your superpower when it comes to business, and how can others learn from that to be more successful themselves?
I thought about this because I saw the question and I thought about this a lot, and I think there were a couple key things that if I were able to go back and do certain things differently, I would, and I'll share that with you. One, running an IT organization, particularly a global IT organization in a company, I think one of the key factors for IT professionals is to first know what the company does to make money. So take Pacific Drilling, for instance. Pacific Drilling was a offshore drilling company. They made money by executing for their customers to drill oil. I mean, that's what they did. Chicago Bridge and Iron was a construction company. They did construction. So it sounds almost, I don't know, it's fundamental that IT organizations first identify how they are supporting what the company does as a business. So like, for instance, when I go into a department, the first thing I do is look at whatever list of projects that are going on in that department. And if you can't point to exactly how that project or how that technology is either making the company more efficient, safer, faster, it's helping the folks that are on the what I call the pointy end of the spear to push that to allow the company to make more revenue or delight the end customer. If it doesn't fit one of those categories, then you got to say, why are we doing this? What is the point? And sometimes we get lost as a technology organization because we don't get out of our office. I'm a big fan of, you can fake caring, but you can't fake showing up. And I like my technology teams to be out and about where the company is doing business. If it's a fabrication facility, I want my folks out in that fabrication facility, looking over people's shoulders, saying, okay, we have this database, or we have this program, or we have this software that we've given you to do your job. Is it working? Does it do what it needs to do? Are there problems with it? And when I say I send people out into the field, out where the company, right on the pointy end of the spear, I'm talking my top people, the people that can really impact the system. I mean, we have help desk folks and stuff like that, and that's great. But if you don't send your top people out there so that they can really make an impact, then you're kind of spinning your wheels. And actually, I've done this a couple times, and it has been it's been revolutionary on how it's changed how technology works with the business. And it came about with the minute we got out. I'll use Pacific Drilling as an example. I got there and talked to my team, said, how many of you been out to the rigs? And 2 of them out of the whole group had actually been to the rigs. I said, okay, first thing we're going to do is we're all going to get out to the rigs. The goal of going out to the rigs is to look over people's shoulder and find out, is the technology that we've given them to do their jobs, are they able to do it? We found an enormous number of what I'll call just low-hanging fruit that we could solve right there. Why are you downloading this into a database, into a spreadsheet? You have this database. Well, I can't get the database to work. So we fixed an enormous number of things right off the bat. And I will tell you that if you're struggling to really engage with your operations departments, having meetings between the CIO and the head of operations, while it's nice and maybe you'll have a nice lunch, really won't impact it. That senior vice president or that executive vice president or that VP of operations will listen to his folks more than they're going to listen to you in technology. So if his folks are coming to him saying, wow, IT was out here and they fixed this and they did this and they worked these things, that is how you engage with the business. That's how you make a difference. And then you become an agent for new technology and how can we do things better. And then operations is going to start coming to you saying, boy, I have this problem. Do you guys think you can help? Because I know you're out there. I know you understand what I'm doing. It just makes all the difference in the world.
Any other thoughts related to this?
So yeah. So one other, and I used to harass my teams all the time. In IT, we have our own language, right? And we get excited about things that other people don't get excited about. It's like, wow, I got this new server. It's got 8 cores and it's got, in-process memory, and I can do all these cool things.
Right.
And we want to talk to people about that. And when other people come up and they say, well, how is this going to help me? Well, it's a it's got 4 cores worth of memory and blah, blah. And we start using
Uh-huh.
IT speak.
Yeah, they're like,
They,
I don't know what even, I don't even know what a core is. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
exactly. They do not care 1 iota about that stuff. They don't care. Now we do, and that's okay because that's what we do. But when you speak to other people outside the IT department, we have got to learn, and I harass my people all the time. You've got to use language that they understand and it will make sense to them. And equally, things that they're interested in. How's this gonna make my life better? How's it gonna change what I'm doing today? That's the conversation. So yeah, I used to harass my people all the time about the IT, the language of IT, and the people don't understand it.
Uh-huh. So any tips on how to become better at not using technical jargon and speaking to non-technical people in a way that they understand?
Well, I think it really comes down to practice, because some of our folks in our organizations, in our IT organizations, they're really brilliant people. I mean, they really are brilliant people, and they've got an enormous amount of knowledge. And their focus and drive is really about that technology and the uniqueness of that technology and how that's going to help the business. I think when they have a conversation with somebody, to avoid using, well, not avoid, but try your best to describe it in the simplest terms possible, in words that somebody that is not in the technology business can completely understand. And it takes practice. It really does, because when we're together as our own group, for somebody on the outside listening in, it's almost unintelligible. But remembering that when you go out, you talk to other people, that stuff is not, it's not straightforward for them. They don't understand the language. They don't understand the technology. And quite honestly, that's not their job. That's our job.
Got it. So any other keys to your success?
Have a sense of humor, and have a sense of humor. In addition, when you're hiring people, regardless of what level those people are at, hire people that you think are smarter than you. Always hire someone that you know is smarter than you. And when you're hiring key positions, so your direct reports, hire people that you believe the day you hire them, they could take your job and do it just as well or better than you could.
Got it.
And it's daunting. It's kind of scary, because you think, well, I've got this fantastic person. What the heck do they need me for? But if you hire those kind of people, life will be a lot better. Always hire somebody that you think, particularly your direct reports, people that could take your job, people that could easily step in and take your job. Oh, and another thing that I was thinking about too, one of the things I found to be really crucial, and this was kind of an outpouring of what I did on submarines. So we tend to think of ourselves as, I'm a hardware person. Oh, I'm a software person. Well, I do cybersecurity. Oh, well, I do this. Okay, I do SAP, or I do Oracle. I made it a point that I changed my org chart actually kind of regularly, to force people into other areas. So if you're an SAP expert, and that's where your expertise is at, and you've been doing SAP for 15 years and you're in my department, guess what? The next day you're working on Azure, and you're learning Azure, and you're learning Microsoft. Or you're sitting over with the cybersecurity guys learning how to do Palo Alto firewalls, or you're understanding how a SIM works, or you're working on trying to figure out single sign-on and how to make the system work in all these applications for single sign-on. I forced people to move around the world in technology, so that no one person was a single point of failure in the process, because somebody is always going to leave, and somebody is always going to get sick, and somebody's always going to, have something where they can't show up to work. And in some cases, if you're so stovepiped that you don't have extra people that can do that, it'll kill your department without having that kind of flexibility. And I'll also share, your people will love it. Now, there are some that I just don't want to do that. And sometimes you have to, kind of help them move over and broaden themselves a little bit. But I would say almost across the board, my folks appreciated that more than anything. The opportunity to learn something new, go do something a little bit different while still staying close to what they're comfortable with. And at the end of the day, if you're building people that eventually you want them to be the CIO, you want them to go be the CTO, they're going to need that broad experience in all those different areas of technology, or they're going to be really good over here and have no clue over here.
Sounds like really great insight on this. Thank you for sharing. Is there anything you'd like to ask of the audience? Opportunity to ask whatever you like.
Well, I would be interested to hear from the audience, what do you think of that? What do you think of those ideas? Do you think there's merit to those ideas? And B, if there are other things that you can think of that maybe I didn't cover, I'd like to hear those. I'd like to know, because I've spent a lot of time running IT organizations and technology groups, and sometimes I've learned the hard way. Unfortunately, you pay a better price when you learn by experience what
Yes.
not to do. It's been a fun ride, but it's been a challenge at times.
And if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way of getting a hold of you?
It's either contact me via my email or contact me via or just send me a text message. Either way is fine. And do you need my email and phone number now?
Sure.
Okay. It's Corey.Thompson@cartwin.ai. And Corey is spelled Corey.Thompson@cartwin.ai. And you can always send me a text message at 713-588-6809.
Great. Well, thank you, Corey, again for being generous with your time and knowledge here and sharing with us. Been a pleasure having you on.
Appreciate it, Jim.
And until next time on the Profits of IT, I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate new clients or partners, be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com.
Thank you for tuning in to the Profits of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.